Think about all the time that you've spent throughout your entire life talking about trannies. What if you were to dedicate all that time to bone smashing? Imagine where you could have been.
Is that a euphemism?
No, bone smashing?
What is bone smashing? That sounds like what the trannies do.
No, it's where you induce microfractures, and this principle follows Wolff's law that a bone is going to grow back stronger, after you induce these localized microtraumas.
You smash, like you punch yourself in the face?
Yeah.
If I punch myself in the face, I'm going to get like a nice mewed up jaw?
Yeah, according to Wolff's law, right?
Do you punch yourself in the face?
Yes.
How hard?
Like reasonably.
Just your fist?
Yeah. I used to use a hammer, but my parents would go into my bathroom and take it away. So.
If your theory is right, that transmaxing is the only route to happiness, how is Donald Trump the most powerful and successful person in the world?
Well, because he's very tall, he's got a good phenotype. A lot of the looks features of Donald Trump, like his facial width to height ratio, are favorable, and there's a lot of traits that are sort of universal in presidential campaigns, or presidential candidates rather, like that of their height. You really never see short presidential candidates do well. So this is still all about aesthetics, right? He still fits within the categories that I'm talking about.
So your position is that Donald Trump is a Looksmaxxing example and Sydney Sweeney is not?
First of all, I just said that Donald Trump has a lot of the traits that make someone do well in a presidential campaign.
Well, but you were actually.
But you asked why he's the most
about his looks.
Well, you just asked why he's the most powerful person in the world, and I'm simply telling you it's because he's 6'3". He's got a super wide facial width to height ratio, and these are things that have been researched to be super beneficial in a campaign.
The problem with becoming famous like you and suddenly getting all this attention, Clav, is that you start to get a lot of unwanted attention. You got arrested 2 weeks ago. You were in custody on suspicion of possessing a forged instrument, using a fake ID and so on. The charges were dropped, I should stress. You've talked about using drugs like crystal meth and so on as a stimulant for hollow cheeks and so on. But with your higher profile comes risk, doesn't it? Both of unwanted attention from authorities, who may take a dim view to your use of drugs and talking about it, you've had problem with people having sort of stalker behavior to you and so on. How are you dealing with that part of fame?
Yeah, that's certainly a lot more difficult. You can't really fly under the radar. I can't really go out in public anymore without security. It's like you want to just go to a bar and have a good time, getting swarmed by people wanting to take photos, which is great. And I think it's, one of the best things that has ever happened to me, but it's just a different life, right? So I'm not really sitting here and complaining.
You do meth?
Yeah, I haven't done meth in 2 weeks, but I do meth, yeah.
I sometimes do a little nicotine pouch, and I think I'm being like real bad. I'm like, oh, I should I? But I would say
for a good one here.
the maxed version of the pouch is meth. Why do you do meth?
Well, because meth is very similar in terms of its makeup to something like Adderall, but it's got a little bit better psychoactive benefits.
I've heard this from very established people. They'll say, hey, I do this, that, and the other thing, but don't do what I'm doing. And I would say, if you say don't do what I'm doing, why are you doing it?
Because I have enough willpower to be able to taper off of meth.
You're saying if everyone could do it in the way you do it, it's fine, but because most people can't.
It's not necessarily fine. It's still neurotoxic. So maybe I traded some neurotoxicity for temporary leanness to ascend really quickly, because in my context, that was important to me. I was going viral on social media. I needed to get lean as quickly as possible.
You don't need to confess it on air?
No, I've said all of it on air. I've literally done like every single thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Like acid?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't strike me. I had friends in college who would
Got some in my wallet right now.
Are you on it right now?
No, I'm not on any. I'm on no drugs right now. I'm fully sober. I hate.
Why do you like the recreational drugs? I was always curious about acid, but I never did it. And I'm happy I didn't.
Don't do it. Acid is the worst thing ever.
But it's in your wallet.
Yeah, because I took it one time, like about a month ago, and it was the worst thing ever. Psychedelics are like one of those leftist drug selections that really just are mind-boggling.
Yeah. Are there any of the recreational drugs you like?
Yeah, I mean, I like cocaine.
I guess that goes, if you're doing meth, you might as well.
I'm a live streamer. I stream for 8 hours sometimes. I don't want to have to like have people signing NDAs. Oh, like this guy is actually, someone who does cocaine. This guy says the N-word. It's like I want to just do that on my live stream.
Like it's all out in the open. You do drugs on the live stream?
Yeah. So like that's the only reason
I guess I drink on streams sometimes.
We got some whiskey there.
We got better than the seltzer I'm having.
No, so exactly. That's the problem is like I don't want to influence people to do these things necessarily, but it would just be too much work to try to fraud like me not doing them.
There's a radical honesty, I guess, to that. Is there any? So you got the jaw surgery coming up. Are there any other improvements you're planning, or is it really just the jaw thing and then you're maxed out?
I'm gonna do a roid cycle again and get back into lifting weights.
There's a thing called bone smashing. Now, this is the bit that I find concerning. This is a dangerous and pretty discontinued and discouraged practice of actually hitting bones in your face to create a more chiseled look. Have you done this, and do you encourage people to do it?
Yeah, so I have done this. This is something that was part of my routine for years and still is. The problem is there is sort of a barrier to entry to all this stuff that comes with just, intelligence, right? So if you tell people about bone smashing and they're super low IQ, they might, hit themselves in the eye and cause a lot of trauma or, severe harm to themselves. So like these are things that could be very dangerous if, done improperly, but also things that can have a lot of benefit. And this is always the nuance that I give. So it's sort of a double-edged sword on whether or not I recommend it. It's like if done properly with the proper precautions, it can be a good thing and it will be a good thing. But there is a lot of risk involved.
See, I just don't think smashing your face up is a good thing to be encouraging anyone to do.
Okay, well, tell me why not.
Because I think the obvious potential downside massively outweighs any potential upside. And there's also a kind of wider point I'd say to you, which is, well, to me, like my overriding view of your whole sort of philosophy about
No, but like why do you not recommend bone smashing? What's actually wrong with it?
Well, self-evidently, because smashing, well, I can tell you why I don't recommend bone smashing. I literally smashed a bone 5 weeks ago. I broke my femur falling over, needed a hip replacement. It's wrecked my life for the last 5 weeks. I can't.
Well, we're talking about very intentional, localized microtrauma.
I know.
Not talking about falling over and breaking your hip.
Yeah, I know.
So are you saying
it's
not possible for you to have, a semblance of precision to not just completely shatter your orbital rim or something? Like, it seems like a very easy thing to do.
I think my overriding question about all of this for you is,
so what's wrong with it? What's wrong with bone smashing?
Hang on. Well, I don't think it's a good idea to encourage people. If you do,
but why?
Perfectly entitled to. If you've done it and it worked for you, great.
Are there any downsides to hitting yourself in the head with a hammer?
No, as long as you have proper bracing, you're going to be fine. But that's what I mean. That's just like one example of something that you could do instead of political activism. Is bone smashing.
I'll tell you, sometimes in my political activism, I would rather hit myself in the head with a hammer. Without question.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Like, just dedicating your time to ascending as an individual instead of like coping and cortisol spiking about like liberalism and trannies. It's like that's just what's going to happen anyway. Like people are retarded for the most part, and they're going to.
You sound like that Indian guru in the Midwest. Said democracy is the government for the people, but the people are
right. So it's like I see all like these conservative commentators trying to, stop people from like doing drugs and, weak-willed people. It's just kind of like Darwinism. It's like natural selection to me. If people want to be like addicted to opioids, like I don't think we should be spending like taxpayer resources to like build like, addiction clinics and try to pass legislation.
We should just let them kill themselves if they want.
Like essentially, yeah. I mean, and you got to just focus on maximizing yourself as an individual.
But what if maximizing myself as an individual, in my perception, involves growing in charity, and what if it involves ameliorating the political and social conditions in my country, and what if part of that means that I want to help other people instead of letting them kill themselves with opioids?
Well, then I would say that that's going to be a very futile cope.
You don't think you can help people? You don't think anything can improve? The Bolsheviks are about to overrun Iberia.
I don't think that I can do anything. I don't think that anyone watching could do anything. I don't think it's likely that even someone with as big of a reach as you can necessarily influence.
Could Donald Trump do something?
That's even tough to say with just like the blockade you face with like, all the different branches of power.
But I've met a lot of very good-looking people in my career, and a lot of them end up miserable, right? Because their looks eventually fade, and they can't deal with it, and they end up turning to drink and drugs, and they're depressed, and it's awful to watch because they pride aesthetics over things that are more important. Character, for example, your personality, intelligence. Education, wisdom, all these sort of things. In other words, things.
Why are you doing the same thing where you make it mutually exclusive? They're not mutually exclusive at all.
Well, I'm not. But are you not concerned that partly this is driven by insecurity on your part?
No, I would say that would be applicable to most people in the Looksmaxxing scene. So I don't think that's a bad argument for you to give, but for me, for my specific case, it's based on objectivity, right? It's based on real world data that shows looks are extremely important in the workplace. Looks are extremely important in dating. So that's kind of the reason that I go about Looksmaxxing, but that might not be so true for everyone.
One of the few controversial things, genuinely, I think you've been involved with was this scene in Miami when you're in a van with the Tate brothers, with Nick Fuentes, with Sneeko. When you watch that video,
they don't understand the things I say on Twitter. Nigga, how Hitler? They don't understand the things I say on Twitter. All my niggas Nazis, nigga, how Hitler? She got the roll in her hands.
Are you comfortable about that?
Well, listen, Piers, historically, you've, kind of been talking about this whole thing with Ye for a little while. So I've actually got a Ye thing as well for you. So why would you go to that island, Piers?
Which island?
You know what I mean? So that's the point. Is like we can all point fingers
wait.
No.
Wait a minute. Which island? You mean the Epstein Island? Obviously, I've never been there, never met Epstein, never had any connection with him, not in the Epstein files other than references to being at lunches and things that have nothing to do with him. Well, no, you can go read them. The beauty of the Epstein files, you can go and check my name. You can read every entry. You'll see none of them have anything to do with him or his activities or anything. I'm just mentioned in passing as having been at completely unconnected events. So there's nothing to do with that. I met Ghislaine Maxwell. Well, I'm about to come to that. So I was pictured with her. Okay, I was pictured with her at a book launch for 5 minutes. I've talked about it. She admitted that under oath. The only time we'd ever met was for 5 minutes. So I have no connection to that scandal at all, other than I once met her for 5 minutes at a book launch. So let me come back to you in the van with the Heil Hitler song playing.
Well, this is like a little bit ridiculous. because you're with
Well, no, hang
the
on,
number
hang
one
on, hang on,
Looksmaxxer.
hang
No,
on,
no, 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 no.
hang
Pierce,
on,
Pierce, you're with
hang
the,
on. No,
you're with the number
I'm going to
one
finish my question.
Looksmaxxer. I find it quite silly to me that you're with the number one Looksmaxxer, and instead of asking how you could ascend so that, you know, your wife wouldn't tweet out captions like, when my husband's away, Mr. Sud comes out to play. Maybe if you asked me how to ascend, then that would stop happening to you. You know what I mean?
Okay, so you're distracting, and that's fine. You're having your fun. I've got no problem with that. Well, let's have a look at you before you started all this, and we'll compare to what you look like now. So there's the before and after. What age were you in the before picture? Can you see that where you are?
Yeah, I would have been 16 years old.
And the one on the right is what are you now? You're 20?
Yeah.
So you've been
Well,
through
that would have been when
obviously
I
a
was 19, I
transformation.
believe.
Okay, so you've been through a big physical transformation, that's clear. Your face has changed dramatically. So what have you done to your face to look max yourself?
It's a lot of pharmaceutical intervention. A few of the ways I did this is with exogenous hormones like testosterone, like human growth hormone. I did things like block aromatase, which is testosterone converting into estrogen so that I would actually grow taller. So there's plenty of different mechanisms that I leverage to sort of masculinize myself a little bit more and to become a little bit bigger. So, you know, it would just take me so long to go through every little step that I took to Looksmaxx.